Let's stand up and let's give a round of applause and introduction for the one and only HGTV's own Taniya Nayak and Matt Blashaw.
Way to get him up. Thanks, brother.
Ooh,
Thank you, guys.
Wait, Matt, I gotta
Are we
dance.
dancing? Is this
No,
the
I don't know.
cha-cha?
Why do you stick to? Why don't you stick to?
I don't know. I'm going to stick to
landscape
nothing.
or something.
How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Awesome.
South Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know that she lives here? She is a
Part
resident.
time, I do. Yes,
Yes.
I do. I live in Boston, but that's why I have a place here.
Yes.
Fort Lauderdale. I love it. Are you guys enjoying the show so far? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I love it. So we always come back, and when Adam asked us, it was not a question to come to the show. It is one of the best shows in the country, and we do a lot of them. But also, the ideas and the designs that you see here and the experts are phenomenal. I just had a chance to go around to the booths, and as a contractor myself, be able to talk to these people, and it's just incredible to see these products. So
This is
welcome.
what happens when we co-host a show together. I'm like, oh my God, all right, Matt, come on, let's
Go,
go.
go, go,
let's
go,
go,
go.
let's go.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Taniya and I did a show called Build It Forward. Anybody see that on HGTV?
It just
All right?
recently came out.
Yes.
Yep.
So we just met on that show.
Right. And
Yes.
it was like, I felt like I've known you my whole life.
Well, I'm glad you felt like that way.
You didn't feel that.
But it's interesting when you, as hosts, you don't know who that person is that's going to show up, right? Because the chemistry needs to be there. And I don't know about you, I've had a couple of
No
co-hosts
chemistry.
where I went, oh my gosh, this is just not working out. But for some reason, when Taniya and we got together, it was fantastic. Not only did we have great chemistry, but also the show is incredible. So
Yeah.
if you didn't see it, we helped some amazing people who are doing amazing work in the community to be able to renovate not only the charities that they work for, but also give them brand new renovations as well. So it was an honor to be a part of it.
It was. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with our background, but I thought it'd be fun. You know what, Matt, actually? Since you're talking about chemistry and how well we got along and how, we know each other so well now, why don't you, let me see what you know about me.
Oh,
that
like
you
a
can
test?
tell them. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we shot this show during COVID. And so we got to know each other pretty well, right? Because we were the only ones that were allowed to go to dinner with each other. The crew had to be cordoned off. Oh, thank you. And so we were like with each other nonstop. Now, whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, sometimes you would just be like, I don't want to see you.
Yeah, I need a break.
Yes, I need a break.
I need a vat
Or we
break.
would just drive in silence for an hour, right?
Yeah.
With the radio on. So, but what's really cool and what I want you guys to think about, and I'll give you your bio in a second.
I'm like, what happened to my bio?
So between us, I don't know how many years, I've had 25 years experience in the building. I'm a general contractor. So any questions that you guys have, I would love to answer them. And Taniya has the most incredible education, design, passion for it. You guys ask those questions to us. We want to be a resource for you guys as well.
Yeah.
All right. So now the bio.
Let's see what you got.
I mean, it's all about Taniya, apparently. On this, where's mine? I
I don't know. I don't know.
I need to get my magazine.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
this is the actual
Hey, let's
magazine from the same people that put on the home show.
Yeah.
That's actually my condo here in Fort Lauderdale.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
yes.
All right, so Taniya Nayak, born
ready.
1986.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
So she from Boston,
Yep.
right?
So far, so good.
She went to an architecture school, not a design school, because she does not like the word design.
I love the
She
word
says,
design.
Yes.
I love for design.
Yeah, but it was an architecture
That's
school,
right.
And so she got her architecture degree. It was online with 3 easy installments of
Interior
1995. Yeah, I
architecture.
got her degree. And then finally, to put herself through school, she got a job in Boston as a go-go dancer.
No, that's not true. Not true.
What was it?
I was a bartender.
A bartender,
Yes.
bartender. Okay. And then this is how she met her husband,
Yes.
Brian, right? And from what I remember,
You're doing great.
thank
I'm
you.
impressed.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So she was dancing on the bar, Coyote Ugly style, and she was.
Maybe I
it was
was, I don't
tequila poppers, and Brian said, me, and you gave him the shot.
Now we're
and
going.
It was like
now
it
this
was
whole
love at
story's
first
going
shot.
in
Love
another
at first
direction.
shot,
I
right?
think we're good. I think,
thanks.
we get the idea.
But actually, what was really cool is that Brian worked as a general manager at the restaurant. So you wonder how Taniya got into Restaurant Impossible, right?
Yeah.
And what she does she does restaurants across the country. That's how she got into it. She was a bartender. And then her husband, who's a restaurateur, is that a word?
A restaurateur.
A restaurateur?
Yes, a restaurateur.
So it was a perfect match, and so they were able to, he opens up restaurants, and so she was able to use her incredible design style.
Cliff notes, come on. We gotta answer people's questions.
I know,
you know
but
what
this
I
is like great.
Sorry,
I'm just making this like go. So this is what I love about Taniya. So she's been on the network forever. Just forever. And what you notice on the show, you notice this bright, bubbly personality, so positive. But
fake.
what you see on the show, this is the coolest thing. I'm going to give you a compliment, so you better listen. Yeah, because it's never going to happen again. So she is the same way when the cameras turn off. And on these shows, you wonder sometimes, do these experts know what they're talking about, right? Are these people on just TV? And I've had guys come up to me and say, okay, are you an actor? I'm like, no, I've been in building for 25 years, right? She is the real deal. And that's the really cool thing, is to be with her and the passion that she has, not only on camera, when the cameras turn off.
That's so
that was
sweet.
really cool to be with. So it was an incredible experience.
Thank you.
And I'm never doing it again.
Never,
no,
ever.
it was a great experience.
Done with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what's mine?
Oh gosh. All right.
Okay.
So, I'll give you some facts and then some fun facts.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So Matt actually studied at Yale and Harvard architecture. Brilliant, brilliant. And he is also a classic pianist. He has graced the cover of so many romance novels. What is it, 25, 30, something like that? And then he also hosted, do you guys remember the show Curb Appeal and Design to Sell? Oh my God,
Yeah,
wait,
is
that's
John
not
Gidding.
you.
You're talking
That
about
was John Gidding.
Yeah, that's John Gidding.
That's not you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
Not
The
me.
real deal. Do you guys
Yeah.
know John Gidding? Like Mr. Perfect. He's
Let me tell you,
perfect.
they wouldn't even send me an application to Harvard. Yeah. There's no way. Yeah.
What I do know about you is that you've worn a million different hats. You've done a million different things. You were a thespian, right?
Thespian?
You were actually an actor.
Well, I was a pre-med major in college, and I was doing theater because I just loved it, and I was doing film and television.
It's my
I'm just
turn.
getting the
It's my
facts
turn.
straight. I'm getting the
It's
facts
my
straight.
turn.
Okay, go ahead.
My
Right.
turn. Okay, so, anyways, so he was acting. He went pre-med, I don't know which order. Then landed himself in some modeling.
No.
Am I making this
No,
up? I'm not a
no,
good
never
listener. I'm not as
modeling.
good of a listener as you
No,
are.
yeah.
Anyways, the point is, you've seen Matt on Yard Crashers, on DIY, and HGTV. And that's really, then he has a beautiful wife, Lindsay, just recently turned 4-year-old little adorable nugget named Jace. And there you have it. And then we just did Build It Forward. I mean, see, I'm quick.
That's
quick.
great.
I don't
Yeah,
ramble
yeah.
on and on
Yeah,
and on.
it was like
Okay.
75% accurate.
Yeah,
That was great.
you're right, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Anyways, so when Matt and I were figuring out what we were going to talk about today, we realized we were just going to call it, so what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
What do you want?
Anything, what do you want?
We're going to just
What do
talk
you
about
want?
what do you want.
Right.
So I know I walked around and I got to meet a whole bunch of you guys. And it sounds like some of you are starting renovations and some of you are thinking about starting a renovation. How many are thinking about it? And how many are in the middle of it? And how many of you are just here to see this handsome devil?
No one.
Yeah.
No one. How many people are do it yourself? How many like to get in there and do it yourself? You like that? So what I always say to people, and I'll just say this, is that, so one of my favorite sayings is, a person that makes few mistakes makes little progress. And I have made so much progress in my life, right? And what people don't realize is that as contractors, this is how we got to where we are. It's by messing it up. So the more that you do it, the more that you tackle, and even if you've never done it before, just give it a shot. No, it probably won't work out, but you will build upon it. So
I'm like queen of the mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, but then when I make a mistake, I know,
Yeah.
I'll have like Robert Irvine yelling, Taniya, like yelling at me that
Is he a nice guy, Robert Irvine?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Much nicer than
biceps are crazy.
some other
yeah,
co-hosts
it's amazing.
I've had. Yeah.
But I would say for you guys, try that, right? Because it's really empowering to be able to get in there and do it yourself, right? To have that physical representation of the work you've done. And that's for me personally, and I'd like to hear why you kind of got into it. But for me, I'm attention deficit. I'm not medicated for it, right? And so I need to build things all of the time. So for me, mathematics, things that were like philosophical would not work. But it's for me the physical, putting it together, building, that's what kind of gets me up in the morning.
Well, listen, I'm going to break it down for you guys right now and what's going to happen for you. So this is going to be, if you have a piece of paper or a pen handy, I would highly recommend if you want to take some notes, because I'm going to break it down into the things that you should probably think about as you're getting ready to start a renovation. Okay? Number one is you have to have a budget in mind. And I know a lot of people get nervous about that because they don't know what anything costs necessarily. I don't know how to budget a project. So it's important that you make a list and you say, okay, what are we working on to renovate? Are we changing our flooring? Are we changing light fixtures? Are we changing toilets, tile, you name it, window treatments, windows? What are we changing? So you make your little list, and then you're gonna put basically an approximation of what you think that's going to cost. Reach out to these people, do your homework, do your research, and find out, get quotes from multiple different sources to see really what your sweet spot is. Now you're going to take that budget, put that aside. Now you have a number that you're going to work with, and then
double it.
And
that's what it's going to cost.
Or triple it, and the time. Exactly, that's right.
And let me real quick, let me just point on that. So as a contractor that has worked the past through the pandemic, I've seen my material costs go crazy. Belgard I do pavers in a backyard. Belgard every 2 weeks would put 5%. So if I put a bid under contract in November, all of a sudden my prices kept on going up and up and up. And it was weird because there was fluctuations between different products, and that's just because of the availability. So when you're thinking about your budget, talk with your contractor, your professional, what are prices at right now? Right? Because some things were manageable where it was sourced, certain types of flooring, and there was other things like Quartz countertops went skyrocketing in price, right? So there's things that you can do. I've seen people going back to Granite now because Granite used to be more expensive and now Quartz is. So it's all about the supply and demand. So these are things that you can think about to make sure that you're staying within your budget. And listen, it's hard to stay in your budget. It really is.
Well, the other thing to add on to this is that if you are locked in and you love something, don't wait, because chances are it'll go out of stock, it'll get back ordered, the prices will go up. Purchase it. Just purchase it and move on. It's like, I always say, like, you don't overthink, just act. It's like, time is money. You've got contractors. Everything is chaos when you're doing renovation, and it is super stressful, incredibly stressful. Yeah. So also give yourselves a break and know that it's not going to be easy. It can be fun if you make it fun, but it's not always fun either. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, but we just cut out the parts that aren't fun, put it on television.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. Who's doing a kitchen here, by the way? Have you ordered your appliances? Oh gosh.
Get on that now.
Oh gosh.
Now.
So the appliances thing, I'm not kidding you, from KitchenAid, I have an order for a black 36-inch range from last June that has not come in yet. And there's a different excuse every time. They're saying it's the black stainless that comes in or whatever it is. My advice, and Taniya nailed it, get all of your appliances first. Get them in, get your materials, because I tell you what, as a contractor, I love that, because that means I can work all the way through. Because if you don't have everything that we need, and I put my guys onto another crew, guess what? It's going to be harder to get me back. So that's a good...
I have a really good little tip also, because
let's see.
As a designer that also does not just play one on television, I actually have my business, and we do clients from condo developments to restaurants to houses. What we always encourage our clients to do is to get a storage facility that will actually check your deliveries, because if it's sitting there in a box, because a lot of people don't want to open the boxes because they don't want it to get damaged, but then by the time you open the box and you find out it's damaged, you can't return it anymore. So a lot of these facilities, they are a little pricey, but if you think about the items that are going in and realizing that you may not get your money back for something that comes in damaged or wrong, it's something to think about. I highly encourage that you do it. If not, if you have a garage and you can store stuff there, just check it. Make sure you make a note of checking everything so that you have that window to return it.
Yeah, like cabinets are one thing, damaged cabinets. Yeah, I do that a lot with like my stonework. There's stuff that's, I mean, that's just hard-earned money that is just gonna cost you in the long run. So it's always good, yeah, like you said, dive in, open the boxes, making sure that everything is properly done.
All right, wait, I want to talk about design. Can I talk about design?
Can we,
You guys
it was
wanna talk about
architecture, not design.
You know I love my
Yeah,
design.
we were talking about architecture.
Okay, so here's the other thing. Is anyone here like, OMG, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what my style is. I don't even know what color to paint these cabinets. I don't know what tile to put in, and it's overwhelming. It is really overwhelming. So a couple of things that I would recommend that you do. First of all, it's obviously a Pinterest, Google image search. Type in the craziest of words that combine kind of what you're thinking you like. So if it's like glam, farmhouse, barn, or whatever it is.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
Pineapple
Let's
design.
just see what comes up. Yeah, let's just
It
see.
doesn't matter. Something's going to pop up. And you'll start to do this or flip through magazines, whatever it is. You're going to start to gravitate towards something, okay? But all of that aside, the best way that you can actually figure out what your actual style is to open up your closet and look at your clothes that you wear every single day. And if you are a jeans and t-shirt kind of person, then you want a livable, comfortable home. If you are the person that loves loud prints and bright colors and lots of jewelry, then I have a feeling I know what your house is gonna look like, okay? So it is the best way to figure out what your actual style is to just open up your closet and don't look at the things that are your party dresses or your fancy outfits. Look at the stuff that you're wearing. Like basically whatever you're wearing here today, I could be a design psychic and I could pick someone in the audience and tell you exactly what your house looks like.
I know what my style is.
She like, pick me.
You know what my style is? Messy.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no!
yeah,
Come on.
it's
Lindsay
just
would
messy.
not have it.
Oh my gosh,
she would
she
not
hates
have
it.
it. No.
But you guys know what your style is because it gives you that reaction. That's the cool part, right? When you walk around to these different booths and you see, there's ones you go, nah, it doesn't, but then there's that reaction that you gravitate towards. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that design in a whole, but you make it and piece it together to make it your own style. And that's really important. She can speak on this, is that you put your style and your staple into your house. Do not gravitate what everybody else wants.
Don't just do a photo.
Yeah.
Wait, I got a time warning because, is anyone here fanatical about plants and greenery like I am? Does anyone here have no clue what they're doing? Like me? I don't know what I'm doing with my plants. Sometimes I get these little white spots. Sometimes there's dead leaves and I don't know, am I supposed to cut them off or just, I don't know what to do with them. So I have reached out to my friend Matthew, who is, I think you all probably know him. He is the plant guy. That's
trademarked, right?
That's his business. He's got that gorgeous booth over there. But when we bumped into each other at a diner a couple of weeks ago, last time I was here in Florida, and then we became friends on Instagram, and I posted a photo or a video. I have a fiddle fig plant, and I was so proud because it literally high-fived my ceiling. Like it grew and grew and grew.
It loved your place.
It high-fived my ceiling. So I posted that it high-fived it. And he messaged me, he's like, hey, I don't know if you want any unsolicited advice. I'm like, are you kidding me? The plant guy is giving me unsolicited free advice? Yes, all day long. So I asked him if he would join us so that we could talk a little bit about plants, and then we're gonna get to some Q&A and answer your questions. But selfishly, this is really for me. Just so you know, none of you are allowed to ask him questions. I got all
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Fantastic.
Oh, perfect. We got the table. Matthew, come on up. Hi. Can we give a big round of applause to Matthew?
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Do you guys all know who he is? Do you know who he is? I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen every beautiful plant structure that that is in and around the entire Florida. Yeah.
Maybe Fort Lauderdale,
Yes.
Miami now.
What did you call this?
That's a fiddle leaf ficus.
I know, but what did you call it?
What'd you call it?
Yeah.
Ficus lyrata?
Yeah. Fiddle. You feel it.
Did you call it
Did
fiddle?
you call yeah.
Yeah, or
yeah.
fiddle fig.
Yeah.
Because
fiddle
if
fig.
you-
So many names. You could choose, pick and choose one.
If you really love on your fiddle fig, it'll grow figs. Isn't that true?
That's not true.
No, it is.
Is it?
There's
is it
no
true?
figs
She
on
might know more than I do.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just the plant
You
guy.
really need this.
Right.
You really need this.
I'm growing figs. Okay.
Figs? Okay.
But I'm going to after you teach
Yeah,
me.
and okay, so when it comes to interior plants, let me just say this. I love putting interior plants. My wife is a plant fanatic. That's how we actually met. I met my wife doing Yard Crashers because she was planting the pots that I built on the show. So she does this. She loves it. It brings life. It brings color. It just brings texture into your house. So really beautiful. And
so-
his stuff is amazing.
While you.
Yeah.
All right, tell us what you're going to do.
So what I'm going to do here, so this setup here, I'm going to do an interior version, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I always wanted to tell people this, and it's great to be on stage. Hello, everybody. People look at these grow pots and they're like, oh my God, I got to get it out of there, put it in a bigger pot, right? And then throw a bunch of soil in it. You don't really need to do that. Yeah, but you don't, I told you that.
No, but the question is, like, who knew that? Every time I get a plant and I bring it home from wherever.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah, and I literally think that you're supposed to take it out and replant it.
Right. So listen, if you go to a grower, they're going to have these in pots for, 3 years, 5 years, sometimes 10. They can live in this pot for a long time. Can you not hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to do this right. But you don't have to put this in a bigger pot. You know how some people, you'll go to their house and like put a plant in a bigger pot and the pot's like this big, right? And you're like, okay, that looks like crap, right? You don't need to do that.
No.
So
and isn't it true though on these?
Yeah,
if
tell
you
me.
put it into a bigger pot, you give it more space, it's going to want to grow more.
correct.
Right?
Right. But let's say this. So it's inside, right? The chances of it growing completely huge inside are like so slim to none, right?
Except if
Unless
you're at
you have,
Tanya's house, apparently.
Oh, do you have a lot of light? Are you
Yeah.
high five? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were pointing up to the light. Okay. But no, it really, I like to buy plants that are already big, to be honest with you. If I like it, 8 feet, I want it 8 feet right now, right? So, but anyways, I'm going to show you this little setup. You want to hold this? Okay, cool.
All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to just spitfire a bunch of questions because hopefully you'll be able to answer them today, and if not, we'll all follow you on Instagram and you can tell
It's
us.
really good to, always putting rock at the bottom, right? So all plants have feeder roots, okay, and they grow feeder roots. Feeder roots actually can sit in water, which is a great thing because they drink the water. I don't know, how many of you remember, like, you'll see a pot with a plant tray underneath it, right? Right? You see the plant tray, and have you ever noticed that the water fills up in the tray, and then all of a sudden, a couple days later, it's gone? Well, why do you think it's gone? Because it sucked it up. The feeder roots have drank it, right? So what I do on my planters, if I'm going to do this inside, I get rid of the tray because I think it looks like crap, right? And so I move it to the inside, right? So for that case, I'm going to put rock in the bottom, right? We're going to do it in.
Yeah, and another really cool thing that we were talking about before. So my
That was so
good.
dramatic.
Yeah, it was good. A lot of action. But we talked about when you have a big pot, right? Everybody thinks that they should fill the whole thing with soil. Right?
That's great, yes.
So you don't. You only need a certain amount of that soil for the plant to live.
Correct.
And so for what my wife does, she goes down to the nursery because she does pots for people's house. So she'll get a bunch of these. They come recycled, and she'll grab just tons of them. She'll throw that in the bottom and then put the soil on top. So you're reducing the weight of the pot, and you're not spending as much money on soil
Right,
as
so you're
well.
not filling up the entire pot, which
Yeah.
is gigantic. And that's a great point that you brought up. Say, for instance, if we're doing balconies, we get a lot of clients that have balconies, right? And so anytime you put all that soil in there, well, where's it going to drain? And what's it going to look like, right? It's not going to be clean water.
I love the way you did that. And what's it going to look like?
Right? So I'll show you this system that I would do outside if I was on a balcony and you have beautiful tile out there. I'll flip this around. We put you could just drill a hole, or you could do a drain plug like this, right? So then we put rock above this, And what's really great here in Florida, which is awesome because we get a lot of rain, and we don't have seasons here, right? So things just all
just
year
grows
long, all year long.
Yeah. So basically, when that water goes, the rock keeps the above the drain.
Correct.
The soil's on top, so when that water comes up, it drains out, doesn't sit in the soil.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Root rot.
Root rot. Root rot gets root rot. So there's a couple ways you can do this, right? So if we're, say, for instance, we're on a covered balcony, we can go ahead and put the rock in, right, above here, and then we'll do fabric. I like to cover my rock with fabric, right?
Why?
Kind of separates the soil, right? Okay.
And it's just weed fabric that you got.
Yeah, just weed cloth.
That's not a good enough answer for me. No, I need to know why. Yeah.
Well, because if you put the soil right in on top of this, you're definitely going to get soil out.
Okay.
Better?
Yes.
Was that a good enough
It's like
answer
putting
for you?
the sheet down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the top sheet. Okay.
Yeah. Are you going to sleep tonight now, Tanya? Yeah, we're good.
It's
Okay.
not fitted. So there we go. That's in. And, I like to look at the pot, right? So I can see about this much soil. That's about. So if this was bigger, of course, I would start out with some more soil. But I could just take this like this, and I'm going to do a little pop, right?
You are taking it out.
On this one.
Okay.
On this one, okay?
Yeah.
This is for outside,
Yeah.
right? But there's two ways of doing this, and I wanted to show that real quick. He got me started going faster. I was like, oh my God. Okay. But here's one way. Watch this. So now we're looking at this, right? We have the drain rock. The drain rock also builds up the plant, right? We could take this, which is amazing, right? And now it's holding water, right? It's holding water to that height. Do you see that? We can set this whole thing in here, right? Right? So cool like that, right? This is on a balcony because now we didn't introduce new soil, right? When we introduce a ton of soil, it literally will come out this hole, right? So this is one way you can do it, right? Or here's another way. So we have the fabric down still, right? We put this in, we pop this off, put this in right here. I get it nice and centered. I like the height on that. It actually could come up. So if it comes up, go back. A little more soil. Right. Little dab will do you.
Okay.
I'm going to make a mess.
And another thing that we were chatting with, moisture control soil. You guys see that? You heard of it? Don't get it, right? Because you're wanting the drainage, and a lot of people think more water the better. No, that's what's actually killing the plants. They're like, why are my plants dying? You're over-watering it. My wife calls it, give it a drink, because it's not about watering it. You just want to give it a little bit of a drink so that you're not letting it sit into the water, sit in the roots.
And so this is a self-draining system now. So you've got the rock, you have the fabric or
Good,
whatever, plant fabric.
Yeah, or weed block.
Weed
You
block.
can use a weed block.
So I'm the one that knows nothing about
So
plants
now
here,
we'll go in here and fill the corners, right?
Yep.
And if you notice when I set it down, I did like a nice little tuck. I don't even know what that's called.
To
but sounds
like
good.
loosen it up.
Yeah, to get a little
shake.
Little tuck
Yeah,
tuck,
yeah,
right?
I got it.
One of my favorite songs.
Go in here, fill this up. Am I doing the whole demonstration?
Well, I mean, no, I think this is good. We get the idea, right?
Yeah, so you get it. You fill all your sides, press nice. Not too hard. Remember, there's roots connected to this. So, sometimes you're pushing too hard, you're breaking the roots, right? Get it nice and snug and tight. And then, now this is a cool thing that I use here in Florida. Is that rubber? It is. I love it.
Oh, really?
Look at that, rubber mulch.
I like rubber mulch. One, it is recycled. And two, it looks good and
stunned.
clean, right? So I'll fill the top with that.
Is that to keep the moisture so it doesn't dry out because of the sun?
It does help with that, but here in Florida, we have
gosh.
a lot of rain.
All
We're
right,
so
big
good.
round of applause for Matthew.
Nice.
Thank you.
If you
So-
guys haven't seen real quick his booth, he does the coolest thing with these trees that he uses.
Oh.
What they're oh yeah, the moisture meter too.
The moisture meter.
Yeah.
The most important, like everyone needs a moisture meter. If you own a live plant, and you can get these on Amazon, right? If you have a live plant, you need a moisture meter, 100%, right? Let me open this up.
I'm going to get a case of these.
You need one with an alarm
You guys
on it,
start
Tanya.
getting your questions ready because as
Yeah.
soon as we're done with this, we're going to dive right into answering all your questions.
Yeah.
Do we have time, Adam? We have time, right? Okay, good.
So we don't know what's going on the inside, right? We don't know if it's watered or not. And being the plant guy, I can kind of look at it, but
Yeah.
still, you want to, people say, oh, go and stick your finger in an inch deep. Well, that does absolutely nothing, to be honest with you. We want to know down here. And so right now, obviously, it's in the red. It says dry. Press this all the way down.
It's like a meat thermometer.
And right now, this is at moist, okay? We're going to water this when it goes to dry. Cool, right?
Oh my gosh.
Right? We don't want to water on top of water. That's like what the biggest mistake is, watering on top of water, right? Root rot, 100%. This is your new baby. Okay.
Yeah, more water is not necessarily better. Awesome, thank you, brother. Yeah, go
Thank
visit his
you.
booth out there. It's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Do you
Some
want to give
really
one away or
amazing
anything
things.
like that? Yeah.
You're going to ask some questions?
Yeah, maybe I'll ask a question. We can give away one of these. Do you want to ask a question? I don't know anything about plants.
Oh,
so
we're
I
giving
would
away
know if it was
moisture
right
meter.
or wrong.
Can I throw them out in the crowd?
Yeah, do you guys have any questions about outside plants in a pot? Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Am I answering the question?
Hi, I just wanted to share that my mother-in-law listened to your podcast and she bought that exact
The exact water meter?
I bought the exact water meter because I wasn't sure when to water my indoor plants.
Right.
And it kept reading very moist.
Right.
So I haven't watered it in like 2 months, and it's starting to go down a little bit.
Exactly.
And it's sprouting. It's so healthy.
Exactly. And that's such an important thing that she just said. You can literally go 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. Can you imagine that? 8 weeks without watering plant. Everyone has to realize we're bringing a plant from outside. And just by the way, people will go, oh, is that an outside plant? All plants are outside plants, okay? We just bring them inside, right? So you got to understand the AC makes everything cold, holds moisture. And so this water meter really will tell you what's going on. And you're saying 6 weeks. That's crazy, yeah.
Wild. We'll take one more question because I want to be
Oh, yeah.
respectful of everybody's time.
Here, hold on.
We can
Cool.
answer your design
Okay, I got
questions.
the mic.
All right, no more plants.
I'm sorry, were you answering her question? Okay, fiddly fig, 25 feet high. It's reaching the ceiling and we just keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it.
Yeah.
My question is, the house has termites and is it absolutely just going to die once they tent it?
Are you asking me if it has, what are you asking me?
If the fiddly fig is going to die inside the house.
100%.
Okay.
If they tent the house, 100%, yeah.
Okay, and the other thing is I have just what you said, I have an African Sansevieria
Yeah.
that I haven't watered in 2 months.
Amazing, right? Unbelievable. Yeah.
Do you want-
Thanks, guys.
Wait, here. I know you guys all have a million questions for Matthew, but you can follow him on Instagram, The Plant Guy, and then his booth is right there, so if you want to ask him questions. But I would love to get into, I know a lot of you came here with questions about your renovation, and I don't want to stiff you of that. So who has some questions for Matt and I?
All right, we got one in the.
Well, first of all, sorry. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I'm like, literally, my mind is just like, it's wild to me what a different world it is. You know what I mean? Like, you can raise kids, you can raise pets, but raising plants is a whole other thing, obviously.
All right,
I mean,
talking
obviously.
remodeling.
Listen, I've named every single one of my plants in my house. So I have Fifi the fiddle. I have, I don't know what the name of the plant is, but it has 4 heads on it, and I call it the Golden Girls. So Sophia, Rose, Dorothy, and Blanche. Yeah, and then I have Lenny. He's in our bedroom. And then I have, oh, she's not my favorite kid. So I don't know. I forgot her name. Yeah. Okay.
I had a question about keyless entry sets in your front door. Now, if you have a keyless car, it's a pain to then find your key for your door. And there's so many types now. There's the one with the thumb. There's the face recognition. Have you done anything with keyless entry sets?
You probably have, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Oh.
I mean, you're going to pay for the technology, right? It's expensive for the facial recognition, for the key. You know, I always put them in the code, right? And I like that. If you have contractors or people coming into the house, you can give them a special code. So I would recommend that. for me, with facial recognition and the thumb and all that, that's just more stuff that can go bad. But the coated ones are always solid and my go-to. Yep.
Hello. We have a third bedroom, and I work from home, and I have my office there, but it's also the guest bedroom. How do I blend it in so it doesn't look like, here's the office and then here's the bedroom? Thank you.
Okay. So may I ask what you do for a living? A software engineer. Smart. Smart. And you probably are at your computer all day long. Do you have a lot of extra stuff, or is it mostly a computer, and what else? A YouTube studio. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, really? So he's got a bunch of monitors, microphone, everything. Interesting. So your situation may be a little different than other people's home office situations. For any of you guys working at home, that you maybe have your laptop or your computer, and a great way to make a dual shift, and I'll get to your more specifically, but generally speaking, a dual shift would be to just empty out that. Listen, none of us want our guests staying that long, right? No one needs to move in and put all their clothes in the closet. So utilize your closet as a way to make that an office space. Set it up so it has a desk height. You could tuck in the chair underneath it, close the door, paint it a bright, vibrant color, or use a fun wall covering, and that's a good way to do that. For you, I think you have too much equipment to really solidly justify how to do it. I mean, unless you do some kind of a divider or some kind of a way to make it feel separate. Otherwise, again, hopefully your guests are just passing through, right?
All right, we have a question right there.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Okay, so my wife and I are in the process of thinking of renovating.
You're thinking about renovating. Yes.
Thinking about renovating. So our first is going to be the kitchen, and then eventually 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
Whenever. Our biggest issue right now is we have our vision. We know for the most part what it is we want. Now the issue is finding whether we go to a big box store or do we go to, for the design. Yeah, because we both, I think we know what we want. It's just, you go to Home Depot and you just only have those options rather than we talk to them people individually who then that gets overwhelming.
Right.
So what do we do? Or when can you come over?
Do you cook?
Not well, but I can feed you.
Okay, great.
You won't starve.
Can you make a good cocktail?
Yeah.
Done.
Yes.
I'm there. So, and I know, Matt, you can probably chime in here as well, but to me, first just figure out what your look is going to be, okay? And then I think eventually you're going to, by big box, I'm just thinking furniture, because you're not necessarily going to get the time, other than the Home Depots and Lowe's of the world, you're not really going to get all of it in one-stop shop. But get the ideas, check it out and see if they have it there. But I personally, probably, hey, if they have everything at a one-stop place, great. But if you really want to change it up and make it feel unique, just do research. And also you can find so much online. Also here, this is another great resource, but just exhaust all of your resources and see what options are out there. Pricing is also going to play a big factor, but do you want to chime in on this?
Yeah. When it's funny because there's things that at Lowe's and Home Depot that I'll find that are relatively well priced, and then there's things that are way overpriced. And you're like, what? Sometimes with windows. And in terms of cabinets, if you want a white cabinet or a basic color cabinet, go with an RTA. You know what an RTA is? That's a ready to assemble. And I know a lot of people go, those things, no way. They are better crafted than some custom cabinets. They're mortise and tenon, they're factory lacquered, they're fantastic, and they're plywood boxes. So for me, you will save, it's probably a quarter of the price with RTA. Now, if you go RTA cabinet, Fort Lauderdale, you're going to find who sells the cabinets, and then your contractor will be able to put it together. Yep.
Yeah, it's not so much the
Yeah,
price
yeah, yeah.
per se. I mean, again, we don't have a huge budget, but
It's a Nayak special right here. Yeah. I would. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. If you want to get your bigger pieces from one big box place, let's say, then at least do your bigger pieces in maybe more of a neutral color so you can accessorize the heck out of it with all different unique cool pieces that'll bring it together. But what I like about that in trying to keep it, and this isn't for everybody, but for me personally, I like having a neutral base where my couch is fairly neutral, a couple chairs, because I like to change things up pretty regularly. And when that time comes, I don't want to buy a whole new sofa and a whole new whatever. So if you do feel overwhelmed by buying this from here and that from there, whatever, then maybe just get your big pieces from one place. But I will tell you, like, there's so many resources, again, online. But my one tip about online shopping is, number one, please read all the reviews. All of them. You want to make sure that the quality is good, and that, because what you look at in the photo, sometimes they scale things up, they scale it down, and it's not the actual size. And then the other thing is make sure that you measure your entryways, that you know that that furniture piece is going to make it through the door. I've done it far too many times to ever make that mistake again.
One quick thing. So I did real estate for a while. Another great thing to do is go to open houses. Yeah, so you just go through, because they'll stage them and design them to sell, right? So you're seeing some incredible designers come in, and you can walk right through the design.
And also, I can add to this a little bit, because obviously with a home show, you know, you're hiring a person, not just a company. So by working with a big box store, sometimes you don't know who's coming in and out, where when you work with some of these smaller local businesses, you know exactly who's in your home, you know what they're able to do, you've seen past projects, they're going to show you, and you can go somewhere to see them. Like, you know, they're not going to just disappear or be in another location. So
yeah, I love a sit test. I always call it a sit test with my clients. If I see a sofa that I know, you know, that they would love, I try to find where they can see it locally and go sit on it. You know, and I would also say the biggest investments that you should make in furniture, I personally think, is a mattress. I want to spend money on a good mattress. I'm sleeping there every single night. I want to, well, other than when I'm traveling for the shows. Yeah. I think, you know, so definitely don't skimp on certain things like a sofa or a mattress.
We have one right here.
Your triceps must be sore. I'm so impressed with how long you were able to hold.
We have one right here first.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. We got you. We'll get you next.
Hi. I'm currently looking to start as an interior design, and I wanted to ask you, if you're just starting today, what are the things you would do and what are the things you would avoid?
If you're starting to get into the career of interior design, yes. Thank you for asking that question. One thing I would highly recommend, are you in school right now? You're thinking about going? Oh, engineer. Just an engineer. I don't know what kind of engineer. What kind of engineer? Industrial. Okay. So one thing I would recommend is, first of all, take a lot of photos. If you even if you started an Instagram account just for yourself, you don't have to share it. It'll provoke you to want to take photos of different things, and you'll start to really immerse yourself into it. But if you do go to school for it, I highly recommend that you intern at both a small, like very small firm and also a very big firm to see where you're more comfortable, because they're very different dynamics. Personally, I have a team of 8 people in my firm. I think that's small, but big for a small firm. But what I love about it is every time we hire somebody new, I'm sitting with them. I'm teaching them every single thing that I know. And that's what you're going to get if you work for a small firm. As opposed to sometimes you go for the big name, and the big firm, you end up just sitting at your computer doing AutoCAD all day long, you know, and you don't really get to the hands-on experience until later. Okay.
We have a question here.
Hi, how are you? My question is, I'm a kind of a crystal mirror type person in my
Glitzy,
home.
glammy.
Yeah. Z Gallery. Yeah. Is it a such thing as having too many mirrors and too much?
Depends on what room it is.
Well, it's not the bedroom. It's actually walk in, there's mirrors on the wall over there, and then I have an area where I love to have a beautiful dining setup. Well, I have these beautiful crystal candle holders, and I've just bought these wall sconces that are like crystal, and I was looking at a beautiful mirror.
Yeah, I don't think, look, at the end of the day, Matt and I will never dictate what somebody should do in their house. It's your style. If you love mirrors, you should mirror the heck out of it, right? Like, it's whatever you want. Even when we hear about trends is always a gimmick to sell, right? So you can listen to the trends, but you don't have to follow the trends. So it's ultimately what makes you happy at the end of the day, right? So I think that with the mirrors, it's more about strategic placing, where you put that mirror. Put it opposite a window, put it at the end of a hallway. Any way that you can make a space feel larger or attract the light and reflect the light is a great place to put a mirror.
We have one more here, and then we'll close it out with one more question.
Hi, I actually have two questions for you. One, I just thought about it with the mirror. When we bought our house, we a small dining room wall that is all mirrored. It was already mirrored. And no matter what I've tried on it, it's never been clean looking. In other words, it always has some type of, it looks like a residue, but it's not. To take it down would be a huge job, the way that it's been put on, because it's the entire wall in sections, pretty thick. Can I cover that, still keeping it maybe as a background with something?
I know you're going to have an answer too, but I'm going to give my thought. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. The design brain is like moving here. So it's a huge full wall. Is it seamless?
It's not one piece. It's in sections.
Okay.
But it's seamless in the fact that it's flush with the wall. So there's an opening into, let's say, the family room. So it's one wall of the dining room.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing you could do is you could have what would look like mullions. Do you know what I'm saying by mullions?
No,
I'm always surprised that I always think everybody knows what a mullion is.
I don't know what a mullion is.
Mullions are like the grid that you see on a window, like a window grid, okay? So you could have something fabricated to look like a window grid and make sure that it covers the seams and create a grid. You could get window film and put it over if it's not a clean and make it almost look like this giant window, and it might not feel so mirror-like, with the seam, or dated if that's what it's looking like, or if it's not clean. And there's so many fun ways that you can do it in a way that, if you like industrial, a lot of the popular style in the meatpacking district in New York City, you'll see different panes of glass. So you'll see seeded glass, fluted glass, clear glass. So you could actually mix up in each grid what that looks like, and it could look really, really cool. So that's one thought. And there's also another thought, because we do this in a lot of our restaurants. I design a whole bunch of Ruth's Chris steakhouses and things like that, is that you can custom order a vinyl graphic. So you can get art printed on this vinyl graphic, have it installed, and then you get a little bit of that mirror coming through, but it's actually art and it's a design and it's super cool. So there's two. Do you want to top that one, Matt? Matt would he'd love to demo it. He'll actually come over and demo it today if you're free.
Did you say tonight? Yeah, great, thanks. Is it glued? Does it have the tar?
I'm
right?
assuming it is
Yeah.
glued. I mean, it's on there good.
Because when you pull it out, you're gonna damage your drywall.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would say do something that you like wild, because maybe it doesn't work out. You're gonna take it out anyway. Right? And it's just going to be piece by piece. Just know that it's going to be taking it out piece by piece and then retexturing the wall. That's the way to go. Yep.
But the vinyl graphic, I've never heard of that, so that's kind of interesting because...
Yeah, you could put us on there,
There you
Maybe
go.
me on one side, Tanya on the other, like over the door like this. That'd be nice.
Perfect. My second question was outdoors. So we've already figured out we're going to redo the interior of the pool, get rid of the coping, do the new tile or travertine or something. My big problem is right now we don't have a huge yard. I'm trying to build a patio cover. that is going to be really good for sun and rain. We don't live in an HOA that's gated or anything.
You don't.
But our
But.
HOA, yeah, it's not like a fancy gated community. Our
Okay.
HOA will not permit us to build that in aluminum. They're saying we must build it in wood.
Right, because you want to keep it to the architectural, they want to keep it with the architecture of the house, right? And that's typically what they want, is they don't want it to be, and a lot of them are afraid, because honestly, the Aluma-wood is what it's called, looks like real wood for the most part, but HOA is so specific sometimes that just because it says this has to be wood, they will make it, and there's no gray area about it, right? So out here, so I just moved from California to Kansas City. I've been there for 1 year, and boy, what a difference, right? So what we did in California is completely different from what we do in Kansas City. You guys get the expansion and contraction with the wood. So if you're going to build it, right, there's two ways about it. What I like about Aluma-wood is that there's really no structure to it, so you don't have to put really heavy footings in. But if you're going to be putting a roof on it now, you got to go through heavy footings, tie downs, right, for hurricanes. So it's going to be a lot more expensive. If you can't get a variance, I mean, can't you grease some palms for the president or something? You can't do anything like that? No? So you're going to end up paying a pretty good amount of money for it, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's really nothing. If they will not let you do Aluma-wood, you can get, honestly, and you're going to get more value out of a wood patio cover, though. Yep, you will, because people will see that, and there's this weird, like, kind of thought, like, oh, it's cheap, right? It's cheap. But if you get something wood, you're going to pay a lot more money for it. But just as a real estate, in real estate, you're going to retain the value of it as well. It's just going to be more engineering. That's why, or just move. Yeah.
And following this, we're going to be stepping right over here where we'll have some pictures, meet and greet. But to leave everyone with something, what would you say, coming from both of you, the top 3 questions that homeowners should ask a professional on how to hire the right professional?
It is like a dating, like what's that, speed dating kind of thing? I don't
Tinder?
know. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be great, like a Tinder contractor thing?
Oh
yeah,
my God,
that'd
that's
be
such a
great.
good idea. That's such a good idea. But I would say trust, get your vibe, trust your gut. If you leave that meeting from talking to a contractor and you feel in your stomach and in your heart this is something not right, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's kind of like how you felt on the first day we met.
Literally,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So what I say is that a lot of people will get references from their contractor, but never call them. Call the references that you get from your contractor. Not only that, go to a job site that they are currently working on. You will see how it's cleaned up. You will see if the guys are wearing no shirts and smoking cigarettes all the time. You'll know the subs that they use. Yeah, let me tell you.
Not some of the
that's
contractors.
something. Yeah.
Not the smoking part either.
I'm from Kansas, it's a lot different. So you will see how they interact, how they work, the subs. That is going to tell you a lot of how it's going to run when they come to your place as well.
And I'm going to wind it up with...
Let's wind it up.
Wind it up or wind it
it
down,
up.
whatever you want to call it, with one last tip, is that you're going to get, say, 3 estimates. Do not take the lowest estimate. Unless in your gut and your belly everything feels right and warm and fuzzy, fine. But I find typically whenever somebody goes with the least expensive bid, it ends up costing more than the most expensive bid. Change orders, this, that, the other thing. They didn't tack on a bunch of things. So again, trust your gut. Typically, I would stay away from the least expensive bid. Wouldn't you say so? Yeah, no?
Yeah, I mean, you just know, get a hold of your materials and know the cost of it, right? Because as contractors, and I do this myself, I typically don't want to itemize too much. Because what it does is that it allows you to go in there like a grocery ticket and start taking stuff out, right? I just don't want to do that. So what a lot of them will do is that we'll say, so the fireplace, 18 grand, right?
But they don't know anything about what's on that
We won't
fireplace.
tell you how much the stone is or whatever. So go down to your stone manufacturer, go down to your cabinets, get an idea of linear foot. So cabinets are always priced per linear foot. So you'll know how much is the linear feet. How much is the linear feet are the cabinets. If he tells you 400, you'll say, Oh, that's a pretty good price. If he tells you 900, no, that's way overpriced.
Like at
so
the
get an
Oscars.
average and know where he's going to go to his vendors for that supply because you want good quality stuff. Because honestly, Tanya's right. You get what you pay for. This is a one in a lifetime for most people renovation. Spend the extra money on good quality
You know what they
materials.
do at the Oscars when someone's speech is too long?
They pull the plug.
Yeah, is that what
They
that,
do
is that, what that
this.
was? That was good. I thought it was a cane. Was it a cane?
Crank it up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys for coming out. Have a good evening.